Welcome to another edition of Northshore Review. All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into Mandina's restaurant in Mandeville, Louisiana.
Oh yeah, Mandina's. Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and you sent over an interview with the owner, Frank Marcello.
Right.
And also some information from the Mandina's website. And
Looking forward to this one.
yeah, me too. It seems very interesting already.
Yeah, you know what I think is really interesting is that Mandina's has this great history, but like Frank's personal story really brings it to life.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for so long.
Decades in the restaurant industry.
And he didn't start out, with a silver spoon or anything. Imagine being 11 years old and already working in a restaurant,
Yeah.
your mom's restaurant.
And that early experience, you can tell it really shaped his work ethic. He mentioned his dad was a bookmaker, right? So the restaurant was really his mom's domain, and Frank was right there with her, learning the ropes from a young age.
Yeah, so you can see how starting so young, instilled this strong work ethic in Frank,
Sure.
which is evident in how he runs Mandina's today.
Yeah, but his journey wasn't a straight line to Mandina's, though, right?
No, it wasn't.
He worked for Copeland's.
Yeah, he even opened his own places, including one in Albuquerque.
Wow.
Makes you wonder, what brought him back to Louisiana?
Yeah, I'm curious about that, too.
Family played a big role, it seems.
Okay.
His father got sick, and so he decided to move back to be closer to him.
Right.
And he was initially looking for a place in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
But then this chance encounter with the Mandina family,
Oh, wow.
that changed everything.
Okay, so how did that happen?
So his father-in-law had a connection
Okay.
who knew the Mandinas who were selling their Mandeville location.
Gotcha.
And when he tried the food,
Uh-huh.
well, let's just say those spaghetti and meatballs
Yeah.
sealed the deal.
That's awesome. And it makes sense why, those classic Italian dishes are so central to both Frank's personal history and the soul of Mandina's.
Right.
Even with their broader menu.
Right.
But before we get into that, I think it's worth, just touching on the history of Mandina's itself.
Yeah, definitely. So the original Mandina's is a New Orleans institution
Yeah.
dating back to 1932.
Wow.
And the building itself is from the 1800s.
Talk about a connection to the past.
I know, right?
So how did they end up in Mandeville?
Well, Hurricane Katrina was the turning point.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
The original location was hit hard by the flooding.
Right.
So they opened the Mandeville spot as a way to keep things going.
Makes sense.
And eventually that's the location that Frank took over.
That's crazy. You've got this really cool historical backdrop,
Yeah.
but the menu isn't stuck in the past?
No. And that's what really surprised me.
Yeah. What's it like?
I mean, who would have thought to combine like Cajun Creole and Italian?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what makes Mandina so unique.
right.
It's not just your typical New Orleans restaurant.
Right.
They've created this like fusion menu
Yes.
that really does seem to have something for everybody.
Yeah, it's like they took the best of both worlds,
Yeah.
put it all on one plate.
I love
And
that.
Frank insists on everything being fresh and made from scratch,
Oh, nice.
which I know is something you really appreciate.
I do. Yeah, absolutely. It's a testament to his commitment to, quality and authenticity. Yeah. So what are some of the dishes that really, showcase this fusion?
Oh, where do I even begin?
Yeah.
They've got your classic trout almondines,
Okay.
seafood gubbo, shrimp mandina.
Uh-huh.
And of course, you can't forget about those famous spaghetti meatballs.
Of course not.
Frank even said that's what he would order for his death row meal.
Oh, wow. That's a statement.
I know.
That personal touch is something you find throughout Mandina's, not just the food, but like the whole atmosphere that Frank's cultivated.
Right. And speaking of atmosphere,
Yeah.
he described it as comfortable, not fancy or fussy, a place where you feel welcome, whether you're with family or having a business meeting.
Nice.
Yeah, it's that classic New Orleans neighborhood vibe,
Yeah.
but with its own unique charm.
It's not stuffy at all. It's really like a come as you are kind of place.
Yeah, and those strong old fashions with a special blend of bitters
Oh, yeah.
definitely add to the experience.
Now, for those unfamiliar, an old fashioned is a classic cocktail made with whiskey, sugar, bitters, and water, right? But Mandina's puts their own spin on it, and by all accounts, it's pretty fantastic. It's those little details that elevate the dining experience, Right?
Right. It's not just about the food, it's about the whole package.
Exactly. And when it comes to those unexpected details, there's one item on the menu, or rather off the menu, that really caught my eye.
You have to be talking about the D burger.
You read my mind. So what exactly is the burger?
All right, so picture this. It's a flattened meatball patty, seasoned just like their famous meatballs,
Okay.
but then grilled and topped with mushrooms mozzarella and spaghetti sauce.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's taking, something that they're already known for, those meatballs.
Right.
But giving people a totally different experience.
Right.
So it's not just slapping Italian on a burger. It's like thoughtful fusion.
Yeah, and here's the kicker. It's only available if they're making meatballs that day.
Oh, wow. So you have to be like in the know.
Yeah.
Talk about a hidden treasure.
I know, right?
It makes you wonder what other culinary secrets are tucked away on that menu.
Right.
Speaking of hidden treasures, we were talking about the old fashions before.
Right.
Frank mentioned that they use like a special blend of bitters,
Yeah.
which makes them really unique. Did he elaborate on what makes their blend so special?
He didn't give away the exact recipe.
Okay.
But he did emphasize that it's all about balance. Finding that perfect harmony of flavors.
Uh-huh.
He's clearly very passionate about those old fashions.
Yeah, but passion alone doesn't run a restaurant, especially one with such a diverse menu and a long history.
Right.
Frank must have faced some challenges taking over Mandina's.
Oh, absolutely. He talked about, the usual suspects, food costs, labor training.
Right, the things that everybody in the restaurant industry has to think about.
Yeah, but what really struck me was his philosophy on leadership.
Oh, okay.
He's a big believer in leading by example.
Right.
And working alongside his team.
But leading by example, sometimes, especially in a busy kitchen, does it ever clash with efficiency?
Well, he actually addressed that. He said you can't ask anybody to do something that they don't think you would do yourself.
Okay.
So, yeah, it might take a little longer sometimes.
Right.
But he believes it builds a stronger team.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's an admirable approach. It
Yeah.
fosters a sense of camaraderie and shared responsibility.
Yeah, for sure. And this seems to be working.
Yeah.
He's not only running Mandina's successfully,
Right.
but he's also expanding with his new Italian venture in Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
Clearly, this guy's got some serious drive.
He does, yeah. So, speaking of drive, did Frank share any insights into what motivates him to keep pushing forward in such a demanding industry?
Yeah, he's got this incredible energy and a real love for what he does.
Good for him.
He talked about the satisfaction of seeing people enjoy his food,
Uh-huh.
the connections he builds with his customers,
Right.
and the pride he takes in carrying on the Mandina's legacy.
That's great. It's that combination of passion and dedication that makes a restaurant really special.
For sure. Now, I know you're a big fan of trying new things.
I am, yeah.
So you'll be happy to hear that Mandina's has daily specials
Oh, wow.
alongside their regular menu.
Even more culinary adventures to be had.
Exactly. So,
What are some of the highlights?
well, they've got jambalaya pasta on Mondays, beef stew on Tuesdays,
Okay.
stuffed bell peppers and breaded pork chops on Wednesdays.
Oh, wow.
Thursday features liver and onions.
Nice.
And Friday, of course, is the famous shrimp Mandina.
It's a culinary tour of Louisiana all in one week.
Yeah.
It's amazing how they manage to offer such a wide variety while still maintaining that focus on quality.
Yeah, and here's a little bonus for our listeners. Frank told us that they actually serve the lunch menu all day long, even though it technically ends at 4 p.m.
So if I'm craving a po' boy at 8 p.m., they got me covered.
You got it?
That's awesome.
His philosophy is yes is the answer. What's the question?
That's the best philosophy. I love that.
So
It really speaks to, their flexibility and willingness to accommodate their diners' preferences.
Exactly.
It's a refreshing approach, especially in an industry that can sometimes be so rigid
Right.
with its rules and regulations.
Right. And it really reinforces that sense of Mandina's being a true neighborhood spot
Yeah.
where everyone is welcome.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into Mandina's,
Yeah.
did Frank reveal any other hidden gems on the menu besides that intriguing burger?
Well, he didn't mention any other specific secret menu items, but
Okay.
he did say they're very accommodating to their regulars.
Oh, cool.
Somebody wants a particular liquor or a particular wine, they'll usually try to stock it.
Wow.
He even mentioned one regular who always requests pepper jack cheese,
Okay.
and they make sure to have it on hand just for him.
That's a testament to, building relationships and going the extra mile for your customers.
Right.
It creates that sense of loyalty and community
Yeah.
that's often missing in today's fast-paced world.
I agree, and it circles back to that idea of Mandina's being more than just a restaurant.
Right.
It's a place where people come together, share stories, and savor delicious food made with love and tradition.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that sometimes the best experiences are found in the most unassuming places.
So what does all this mean for our listener? What can they take away from Frank's story and the magic of Mandina's?
It's really got me thinking about those hidden gems, in my own neighborhood.
Yeah.
Those places that have been around forever,
Right.
but you just never seem to make time for.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in those trendy new spots,
Right.
but sometimes the most satisfying experiences are found in those, familiar, time-tested places.
Exactly. And maybe Mandina's story can inspire us to be a little more adventurous, with our own culinary choices, right? I mean, who knows what delicious surprises await
Exactly.
if we just kind of step outside our comfort zones a little bit.
It might even spark a conversation about, those cherished family recipes
Yeah.
that have been passed down through
Oh,
generations.
totally.
What are those dishes that evoke memories and connect us to our heritage?
Oh, for me, it's my grandmother's chicken and dumplings.
Oh, wow.
So simple, comforting, and always reminds me of her.
There's a special kind of magic in those dishes.
Yeah.
They're more than just food. They're a tangible connection to our past.
Yeah, and that's what Frank has managed to create at Mandina's, a place where tradition and passion
Right.
come together to create something truly special.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that sometimes the best stories are found not in, fancy Michelin star restaurants,
Right.
but in the heart of a neighborhood
Yeah.
where the food is made with love and the atmosphere is warm and inviting.
So, dear listener, if you ever find yourself in Mandeville, Louisiana, do yourself a favor and stop by Mandina's, order the spaghetti and meatball savor a strong old-fashioned,
Oh, yeah.
and maybe even muster up the courage to inquire about that elusive deep burger.
And if you do, be sure to let us know. We're always eager to hear about your culinary adventure.
Absolutely.
But even if you can't make it to Mandina's in person, we hope this deep dive has left you feeling a little more connected
Yeah.
to the world of food and the people who make it so special.
It's a world full of delicious discoveries,
It is.
just waiting to be explored one bite at a time.
Until next time, fellow deep divers, stay hungry, my friends.